Welcome to the February the 14th, 1995 taping of It Happened in Grand Prairie. As we bring you the history of our city and some of the people that have helped make that history and are still very important to it. This is our history tape number 242, and we are very excited today. We have a very special couple as we continue to celebrate Black History Month, not only all over the United States, but especially here in Grand Prairie, Texas. And we have two Grand Prairie citizens that have been very important to history, and we're so pleased to welcome Dr. W.E. Roberts. Welcome, Dr. Roberts. And Juanita, his beautiful wife. Hello, Juanita.
Hello.
We're just so glad to have you all on the set today and to be able to salute you and let you help us salute Black History Month by sharing your history with us.
Thank you.
All right. And Dr. Roberts, you're also a reverend, so with your permission, we're just going to use that title because that's near and dear to many of us. And we're going to begin with you, if that's all right. And we'd like for you to look out into your camera and tell us a little bit about W.E. Roberts and name your parents and brothers and sisters if you'd like to do that.
My parents, Jim Willie Roberts, Effie Roberts. They lived in Falls County, Texas. Marlin is the county seat. We lived in the rural area west of Marlin, Lott, Texas, and Durango, Texas, where I was reared out in the rural. Times were, we look back and we say hard, but they were good times because that was the way of life then. We enjoyed what we had. We enjoyed our friends, going to church, going to school, and we had just the common things to enjoy around the home.
All right. Did you have any brothers and sisters?
I didn't have any brothers. I had 6 sisters.
Now, that was a bunch. They really pampered you, didn't they?
You may say that.
All right. All right. All right. Name your sisters if you'd like.
Rosalie, Nellie, Pinky, Mary Lou, Josephine, and Lucille.
All right. I'd like to also put in the record your mother's maiden name. You told us her name was Effie Roberts, but she was Effie someone before she became a Roberts.
O'Neill.
O'Neill. Okay. That's good. And mentioning, go ahead.
Out of the 6 sisters, 3 has deceased. I have 3 living.
All right. The 3 that are living, where do they live now?
Miss Pinky Brown lives in Fort Worth, Texas.
All right. Okay.
Nellie Truesdale lives in Waco, Texas. Mary Lou Mack lives in Durango, where we grew up.
All right.
She still lives in that part.
In that part. All right, Falls County, down near Marlin, and then on to Lott. That's a pretty part of Texas. What did your dad do for a living?
Farm.
Your dad was a farmer. All right. Did you get to help any?
Quite a bit.
Tell the viewing audience a little bit about working on the farm when you were a young man and going to school and how exciting it was.
Going to school, then our school year was very short. We'd work, gather in the crop, which was cotton, fall of the year, and when that was over, during the winter months, we attended school. Springtime, we did farm work in the field, plowing, planting crops. Later on, when the crops was ready and laid by, people don't understand that term, laid by. That's when you have finished working your crop and you're waiting for the harvest.
That's right.
So then during the summer months, sometimes it wasn't anything to do. So we just maybe visit, play games, visit grandmother. And those were some enjoyable days.
All right, you would mention your grandmother's name if you'd like her name in this record.
Her name was Nellie O'Neill.
Nellie O'Neill.
Her maiden name was Nellie Bull.
That's wonderful. All right, now, the school that you attended when you were a young man, and if it was a community school, we'd like for you to name that. And if there was a mentor or a special teacher there you remember, I'd like for you to put that name in the record.
The school that I attended was a community school out in the rurals. The name of it was Waits Academy. So it didn't go very high in grades,
All right.
but we enjoyed going to school.
All right, was there a favorite teacher or a principal?
One of the favorite principals was, his name was Daniel Everidge.
All right.
He was from, I think, San Antonio, Texas. He was a very good teacher.
Very good teacher. He impressed W.E.?
Right. So I was somewhat let down. He only taught one term. I thought he was coming back, but he failed. He didn't come back.
Someone grabbed him up real quick, didn't they?
That's right. So rural life, it was enjoyable. Of course, I attended other schools. I went to school in Lott, Texas. We lived there, another little small town in that area of Chilton, Texas.
All right, okay.
And also in another rural area, we call Mooresville, Texas.
All right.
So that's just about the extent of my growing up in the rural areas.
All right. We're going to let you rest just a minute, and we're going to get to Juanita and let her start and give her genealogy and bring it right on up until we're going to find out where you two get together, okay?
Right.
Juanita, tell us a little bit about your history, please, ma'am. Your parents.
My mother was Ada Middleton Kennedy, and my father was Willie Kennedy. And my other grandmother was Susan Kennedy, and grandfather's Travis Kennedy.
All
Travis Kennedy.
And where were you born?
I was born in Burleson County.
Burleson County. And what's the county seat of Burleson? Or some of the towns around
Some of the
in there?
towns around me was Caldwell,
Caldwell?
Giddings, and one more. I can't think of that one right now.
Okay, and then when you go down to Caldwell, you're getting down toward Washington County and Brenham and down in that area where they make Bluebell ice cream, right?
One other was Giddings.
Giddings, all right.
Giddings, Texas.
Did you have any brothers or sisters, Juanita?
Yes, I had two brothers.
Okay.
You need the names?
Yeah, if you want those on there.
Wells Kennedy, Robert Kennedy. It was the two brothers, and I had Alma Kennedy as a sister, Alma Kennedy Jones,
All right.
Ophelia Kennedy Purvis, and Juanita Kennedy Roberts.
Oh, yes.
And is it one more? That's I had three sisters and two brothers.
And two brothers. That's wonderful. All right. What did your dad do for a living?
Farm.
Your dad farmed too. Did you get in on all of the farm work, or
I sure did.
worked in the garden or something?
I sure did.
Tell us what you did.
I did some of everything.
Oh, that's great.
Pick cotton, chop cotton, and strip cane. My dad raised a cane and made syrup out of it.
Did you ever go to the syrup mill and watch them cook it?
No, I never did go there.
Never did go there.
And we was on the farm working hard.
All right. Where'd you go to school, Juanita?
Well, I went to school. I went to school in Durango, a little small town called Durango.
And what was the little school's name? The Durango School?
That's all I knew.
All right. Was there any favorite teachers you had in Durango?
Well, my favorite teacher, I just can't recall the name. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
And I went to school down at a little place they call Tanglewood. That's close to Carwell and close to Giddings, and went down there to school.
Yes, well, that's wonderful. All right, and as you were growing up, along with your brothers and sisters, where did you fit into that pattern? Were you the first or the middle or the last of the boys and girls?
No, I wasn't the first. I was the second. I have an older sister named Ophelia, and I was next to her.
And you were next.
I have a baby sister, Alma Jones. She was the baby. And myself.
All right.
That's three.
Did you ever pick peas and shell peas and do all of those things?
I done some of everything.
Some of all of that stuff.
Did. We was on the farm, and my mother, I never did like chopping cotton. I never did like picking cotton.
All right.
But I got so many whippings for not doing so.
Yes.
When my older sister, she would be the mother in the field. My mother would be at home,
Yes.
And I remembered one time I was picking cotton, and I got so tired, I said, and she was just going after that cotton. I sat on her sack, and she got pulled up a cotton stick, cotton.
Yes.
With bowls
A stalk
of it. Stalk.
Oh, my.
And give me a whipping.
Oh, and that hurts.
It hurt, and I never did do that anymore.
Oh.
And chopping cotton, I didn't like that either. And one time I broke a hole chopping. I decided I'd go to the house, and that would be it for the day. But when I got there, my mother got another hoe and filed it and made me go back to chopping cotton.
That wasn't the end of that little job, was it?
It sure wasn't.
Oh, that's wonderful. All right, well now, how did you two meet? Who wants to tell about how you two met?
Well, I'll let him tell it.
All right, okay.
Well, how we met is not, I don't guess, unusual,
Yes.
because we knew her from a little small child up.
Oh, you did? Okay. She was your childhood sweetheart.
Not at that time.
Oh, and look, it's Valentine's Day. That's just perfect. But go ahead and tell us a little about, you grew up and she was in the community, and you saw each other where? At church or school or where?
School,
Okay.
in the community,
All right.
at Church of Wales. So it was
Uh-huh.
a very small community. But it was a long time before we ever thought about each other.
Uh-huh. Before you started dating and getting real serious about this business?
That's right.
Well, now, you just recently, I'm not going to name your children because one of them I talked to on the phone, and she was very exciting, but you just celebrated a very special wedding anniversary. You want to tell us which one?
We celebrated our 60th wedding anniversary
Oh,
this past December.
yes.
The anniversary was on the 16th, but we celebrated on the 15th.
Yes. That was close.
So that was as close as we could get
Yes.
according to what was going on at that time. So 60 years has expired since we said I will.
All right. Now, were you all married down in the part of the country where
That's
you were
we
raised?
married,
You
in
did?
that part.
All right. Did you get married at the church, or did you get the
Home.
justice of the peace, or home?
Home.
Oh, in the home. That was good. That's wonderful. All right. And after you married, did you stay down in that part of Texas?
We did for several years,
All right.
from 1934 to 1938. And we traveled about, settled in Arlington.
And settled in Arlington. What brought you to Arlington, Texas?
Jobs.
Jobs. Okay. You found out there was
Wasn't
work.
much work in that part, so it was more work in Arlington
All
around
right.
this part.
And when you
So
came to Arlington, what did you do for a living?
First, I had a job working for a gentleman out of Dallas who had livestock,
I see.
and I was caretaker for livestock for a few months.
Mm-hmm.
And then jobs was hard to find. We just wherever we could find work, we would go.
You bet. You bet.
So as the time went by and after war started, I
Okay.
worked at the plant here in Grand Prairie for a number of months.
All right. Was
At that
that
time, it was North America.
North American Aviation? And what did you do at the North American Aviation factory?
I worked in the salvage department.
Oh, that was exciting, wasn't it, in salvage?
It was very exciting.
Yes.
Very good.
Uh-huh. And how long did you work for North American?
In all, I think maybe about 2 years.
About 2 years. Okay. Were you the day shift or the evening shift?
Day shift.
You were on the day shift. Okay. And did you commute from Arlington to North America?
To North America.
All right. And you made your home in Arlington?
That's right.
Oh.
We lived in Arlington.
Okay, we're going to get back with you in a minute. Now, you just hang on to where you are at North American. I got to get back and get Juanita all caught up with us because she's still down in Caldwell or wherever she's gone to school, and you've just married there. And tell us about Juanita after you married and where you followed him around, Juanita.
Well, after we married, we went so many places. Because the reason we did because we went other places to work.
Good.
And that was to pick cotton.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
That was some more of that stuff you
That's
didn't
some
like,
more of that
wasn't it?
stuff I didn't like.
That is true.
So, and as he has already said, you know, we moved to Arlington. From Durango, we moved to Arlington, and then from Arlington here. And we've been here ever since.
All right. In Arlington, did you work out of the home or were you a homemaker?
I worked out of the home some.
All right.
Mhm. I worked in Arlington some, and then I worked in Grand Prairie during the wartime. You know, that bridge used to be, it was a bridge you cross over, you know.
Yes.
And it was a cafeteria, a cafe on the other side of the
The
bridge.
Bomber. That was the Bomber Cafe.
Yeah.
You bet.
I worked there.
Did you work at the
Yeah, I
Bomber?
sure did. I
Oh, I
worked
probably
there.
ate some of your food there because I worked at North American and went over that bridge and
Yeah.
went to the Bomber Cafe. Oh, that is exciting.
That's where I worked
Oh,
there. So.
that is great.
I worked in several homes.
Yes. All right. And in the meantime, did we have any children?
He has a son, and I reared him from 5 years old.
Oh, how wonderful.
And,
Let's name him and show some pictures.
His name is Jim Roberts. Of course, he's on here with his daddy. This is him here.
All right, now let's hold that up and see right here and see if we can
Right.
get the and let's see if we can get the camera to clue in on and give us his name again.
Jim Roberts.
Jim Roberts. All right, where does Jim live?
He lives in Oakland, California.
Oh my, you let him get
Oakland,
away. Oh, to Oakland, California. Jim Roberts.
And that's his daughter. This is his daughter here.
All right, well now let's see Jim Roberts' daughter then. And that must be your granddaughter, and what is her name?
Her name is Bernice Marie Roberts.
Oh, that's great, and she lives in California also.
She's in California.
Oh, that is so far away.
It is.
Oh, my,
And
my.
she's 15 years old now. That's not the 15-year-old picture.
All right. Now, this young son, is he real special to you?
Yes, he is.
Uh-huh. Well, I'm just surprised you let California proselyte him out to there and not leave him here in Grand Prairie, Texas. Now, we have your family pretty well established, and what year did you move to Grand Prairie, Texas? We need to have that for our record. Do you know approximately?
I moved to Grand Prairie, Texas in the year of 1944.
Okay. 1944. That was
in
almost,
the month of August.
and that was almost toward the end of the war, wasn't it?
Yes.
The next year it was. All right. And why'd you leave Arlington?
The reason I left Arlington, we were renting, and they had opened up this property in Dalworth, as they call it,
Yes.
selling lots.
Yes.
I bought several lots from late G.W. Spikes.
Yes. Mr. G.W. Spikes that ran the broom factory. Okay.
Right.
All
So
right.
that's where we built our first little house, and we moved in that house in August of 1944.
All right. Now you have another.
Spike Street.
You have on what street?
Spike.
On Spike Street. All right. But you have another affiliation that is very, very special, And you have a very special church up there, and we want to talk about that. We want you to give us the name of your church, the address, and everything. Then we're going to talk about it a little while.
The name of the church is the Lighthouse Church of God in Christ. Location, 1913 Sherman Street, Grand Prairie, Texas. The church got its beginning in the year of 1945.
Okay.
We built our first small building in 1945
All right.
with about 5 or 6 members. And then about 4 or 5 years, the membership grew. We had more people, and we enlarged the church from that small building to quite a larger building. And then later on, as the membership grew, we enlarged it to what the sanctuary is today. And I think that was about 1954.
Okay, 1954.
We
Okay.
enlarged it to.
If you
So that's-
started the church in 1945, this has to be your 50th anniversary, and are you having a party?
Planning it.
You're planning on a party. I knew
Planning the
that.
celebration
Yes.
this year. We usually have our church rally in the fall a little later on.
Yes.
So we are planning the 50th celebration a little later on,
Yes.
maybe in November. Well, we won't wait until December. It'll probably be maybe the first part of November.
In the fall.
That's
Yes.
right.
Oh, that's going to be exciting. I'm
That
into
is.
all of these 50th anniversaries. Oh, yes.
Yeah, we're looking for exciting times.
All right, now you worked in the fields, you worked on the farm, you came to Arlington, you worked at North American Aviation. What brought you into the ministry?
I accepted Christ in my life in the year of 1934. A few years later, I would say in the year of 1937, felt a call to the ministry. It was the Lord that brought me into the ministry. Not a choosing of my own, it was the leading of the Lord.
Yes.
So we had, after going into the ministry, I worked when we lived in Arlington, I served as the assistant pastor there for several years under the pastor. The pastor was Reverend D.A. Kelly.
And was that in Arlington or in Grand Prairie?
That was in Arlington.
That's in Arlington. D.A. Kelly in Arlington. Okay, continue.
Then my first pastoral work was in Mansfield, Texas.
All right.
So it was a little church there in Mansfield, just a very few people. And we pastored there, I think, about maybe several years. And during that time, part of that time, the superintendent of the Fort Worth district, the Superintendent A. Jackson, he sent me to Decatur, Texas, to pastor a church in Decatur.
Okay.
So I think I was in Decatur probably 1 year. And that was in 45 when I left Decatur, when I started building the church here in Grand Prairie.
Yes. And you were the first pastor of the one here in Grand Prairie, Texas.
That's right.
I think that's so exciting. You have served that group for 50 years. I think that's remarkable.
Thank you.
Oh, the Lord's been good to you. The Lord's been good to you.
Very good.
Yes. All right. I've got to get back with Juanita just a minute. Now, Juanita, I need to know about Della.
Oh, Della?
Della Johnson. All right. Tell us about Della.
Well, Della Johnson and her mother, and she had 2 daughters. They moved to Grand Prairie, and after moving to Grand Prairie, they became a member
Of your
Am I
church.
supposed to look straight?
Yes.
He became a member of the church.
Yes.
And they were very faithful members. And Della, if I have to say it, she's a bright child.
Yes.
And she left there and went to New York to go to school, college. And she left New York and went to Phoenix, Arizona. And there she married there. And she worked at, she retired here just a few months ago, 25 years at Motorola. And now she is going to college to get some type degree.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yes.
She was splendid. When we couldn't catch you two because you two were churching all of the week long, but we did find her, and she got us in touch with you and told us all about you all. And I want to thank her for being able to get you here on this television show here today, so we can not only commemorate Black History Month, but one of the greatest things is to have your church getting ready to celebrate their 50th anniversary. That is just wonderful.
Thank you.
Also, Della's our goddaughter, and she doesn't miss a birthday, a Christmas, or no kind of special day that she's not, there in person, but she's just a sweet child.
She's with you in spirit, isn't she?
In spirit and what
Yes.
have you. And we talk quite often, even though it's long distance. She just might call us most any time to see how we are doing. She loves us very dearly, and we love her.
Well, we're going to have to get her a copy of this tape and send it to her and let her know that we talked about her on this show, aren't we?
Sure, that's right. She would love to have it.
All
I know
right.
she would.
All right. Let's see, W.E., we better wind up with you looking out into your camera and just tell us how wonderful it's been to pastor that church for these 50 years, because we have about one more minute on this show.
Pastoring the Lighthouse Church of God in Christ has been a great joy and a pleasure and an inspiration. There were times when it was very hard or struggling times, but in all, whatever came up, God always would see to it that everything came out all right. And I give him the glory. I give him the credit. God has been good. He's blessed. So we have some very lovely people to work with as members of the Lighthouse Church of God in Christ. So you that's looking, I will give you an invitation to come and worship with us.
All right, and give the address one more time on Spikes or Sherman.
The church location, 1913 Sherman Street, Grand Prairie, Texas.
Do you have a phone?
262-3463, the church phone number.
All right. And you meet on Sundays at what time?
Sunday school is 9:30. Our worship service began at 11:30. And the YPWW, which is Young People Willing Worker, 6:30.
All right.
Weekly night services is 7:30. Wednesday night, Friday night.
It's been just so wonderful to have you two on the show today. It's just been really great. I want to thank
Thanks.
you. Thank you for serving Grand Prairie and its citizens, and for being so wonderful. And I know that the Lord will continue to bless you, because we're going to put you on the prayer list, and especially till you get this anniversary done.
Thank you.
And this is Ruthie Jackson reminding you that history is as we live and do.